Let's start with this. Life's got all sorts of unintended benefits and unintended consequences. I remember when I was going through my divorce like a decade ago, I called actually somebody who had a woman I knew who had been through a divorce. It was a friend of mine. And I said, I started talking about it. And she said, you guys, you pay attention to the money. She said, smart guys, there's a sea of money. Stop paying attention to money. She said, you're going to see things that matter that you don't think matter, and they're going to matter more than anything because you're so caught up in the money stuff. Keep in mind, keeping this. She said, you know what you guys need to write in your divorce decrees is who picks up the kids from school, who drops them off at practice. She said, if you don't pay attention to that for the next 15 years, you're going to be on the road constantly. And she was right. She was right. Sometimes you're paying attention to something so much, there's unintended benefits and consequences to everything in life. It's the old years and years and years ago, they wanted to lower speed limits. Slow down, slow down, slow down. The problem with lower speed limits, the unintended consequence is air pollution goes up because cars are on the road longer. The unintended consequence. You see it all the time. Eat less. No, don't eat less. Eat right. People think if you eat less, that's a diet. Well, the problem when you eat less is your metabolism slows and your body stores more fat. So don't eat less. Eat right for a diet. The worst thing you can do is the opposite of what you think it is, And I see this with his kickers. They're all freaking out now. If you notice what's happening in the NFL, the kickers are all freaking out. So the NFL thought we are going to pull the PAT back. And, instead of missing like 4 a year, we'll miss like 12, right? But there's something I'm not sure they took into consideration. Kickers' psyches. They've always been the head cases of the league. And I'm not blaming them. There's a reason for it. Kickers have the most fragile psyches of all football players. And the reason is they've got more downtime. Think about sports. You never see a hockey goal scorer go in a prolonged slump. Tom Brady doesn't go 0 for 17. Kobe can shoot his way out of it. After a bad third quarter, Kobe has a great fourth quarter. You know who slumps in sports? Golfers and baseball players. Why? A lot of time to sit and think. You're only in 17 events a year as a golfer. You miss the cut. 6 days to think about it. You don't have a game tomorrow. You don't have a round tomorrow. Baseball players, same thing. Only 4 at-bats. You strike out badly, you may not get up for 45 minutes. You're on the dugout steps thinking about it. You don't see that in other sports. Well, think about football. What's the one guy who can go an hour and a half with no activity? The kicker. Even a punter's out there constantly, especially if you play for Jacksonville. But a kicker, even a great kicker on a great team, hour and a half by yourself. You don't hang out with the other guys as a kicker. You hang out with another kicker or a ball boy. And these kickers, Jay Feely had a very interesting comment. He said, and he's a former great kicker, he said, listen, extra points used to be in-game practice. So you're sitting on the bench. He came in, it was in-game practice. He didn't have to worry about the result. Practice, 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 kick, kick, kick. The problem is now, it was a confidence builder. The extra points now are just field goals. So you don't have this groove and this confidence builder. So what happens is the pressure intensifies, and it's negatively impacting field goal performance. It's not just hurting the PATs, it's now affecting kickers' field goal performances because we didn't take into consideration the fragile psyche and inactivity of kickers. You know, we knew that PATs, we'd miss a few more. We didn't have an idea that the same kickers would not only miss PATs, but it would make everybody's field goals less efficient. So it's kind of an unintended consequence for kickers. Now, I would argue it's better for the game and it's better drama. But I don't think anybody thought it would be this big of a mess. Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints said basically it's just time from this point forward to go for 2. You know, no president, no CEO, you can do reforms in government. You can't plan for everything. You can't. Sometimes there's pills, vaccines, unintended consequence, unintended vaccine, unintended benefit. This kicker thing was a minor alteration. It is now massively affecting special teams and games. It's incredible. It's unraveling before our eyes.